You don't always need a fighter plane to pull extreme maneuvers in the sky. This is the Cree Cree, the world's smallest twin-engine plane.
The Cree Cree was designed by one of France's top designers, engineers, and as I understand, he designed this in his spare time as a home-built or a kit-built aircraft. And when you add pilot and fuel, it only totals 375 pounds.
With its special roof platform, the Cree Cree can be launched almost anywhere. On the runway, or even on the highway, all it needs is a speed of 70 miles per hour for takeoff.
As we accelerate away, I call the speed out. I just give a gentle squeeze by the stick, which allows the nose to raise up and the aircraft then climbs away from the roof. The aircraft cruises at 130 miles per hour. Its top speed is 163 miles per hour. It's capable of doing all aerobatic maneuvers. The aircraft was developed mainly for the sports market. The private flyer could buy the plans or buy a kit, build it in his garage at home, and go out and fly what's quite a sporty aircraft. It's very cheap to run. It uses 3 litres an hour of fuel. About 100 of the aircraft are now flying throughout the world.
This is the age of the home-built plane. Constructed from plans and kits in countless garages and yards, home-builts now outsell manufactured aircraft by 10 to 1. They can often outperform their factory-made counterparts.
It's a beautiful day for flying today.
Sure glad it's not windy like it was yesterday and cold. Ooh.
And rainy.
Of course, one thing we don't do out here in Texas is we complain when it rains. The last guy I heard of that complained when it rained, they shot him.
I have built 11 airplanes, all original design, and then I sold drawings on one of the airplanes, and there were approximately 75 of them flying. And I've always tried to build, light, small, compact, economical airplanes that the average person could afford to fly and build. Home builds have much better performance. You have over 600 kits or plans to choose from, and those start at under $10,000. There's some that are running records of over 400 miles an hour, and you can't get anything like that in a manufactured airplane.
The DA-11 is Leon's gift to the backyard flyer, powered by, believe it or not, a lawnmower engine.
This is a 20 horsepower lawnmower engine built by Briggs & Stratton. Normally they first came out with 18, and now we put a new carburetor on it and it develops 20 now. And that gives us real good performance and real good economy. Doesn't burn hardly any fuel.
Incredibly, this all-metal plane weighs just 170 pounds. It flies 100 miles to the gallon at 135 miles per hour.
We're about to go fly the DA-11, which is quite small, but everything's relative. It flies just like a real airplane.
Let's go.
The DA-11 gets airborne at 60 miles per hour on just 500 feet of runway. Leon's test pilot, Ken Shugart, is surprised by its performance.
It's quite responsive because of its extremely lightweight. For its horsepower, it's extremely fast. It's very maneuverable. Basically, I just sit in here and ride.
Leon worked as a mechanic in the Air Force and for McDonnell Douglas, but has no formal training in aircraft design. He taught himself.
I'm dyslexic. Dyslexics don't do as well with the printed word, and we try to work with our hands, and usually we're quite competitive. And we strive to excel in what we do. When I get on an airplane, I work about 6 days a week, and I work as high as 16 hours a day.
Armed with a few simple tools and a few simple rules, Leon's genius is to build planes that easily match the factory-built product.
This is my shop where I design and build airplanes. I can do approximately 99% of the work in here. My design tools are a simple calculator and a notebook. And from there, I visualize what the aircraft is going to look like. I work with metal almost exclusively. I would build the windshield out of metal if I could. The worst enemy of an airplane is weight. We have to lift it off the ground, we have to drag it through the air. Power to weight ratio is the most important thing. You can increase the horsepower, which will cost you more, or you can decrease the weight, which doesn't cost you anything. Back in 1946, the industry built 35,000 airplanes. In 1996, they built just over 1,100. And this is caused by the fact that the price has just gone up and up and up, and they've driven the average person out of the market. And this is where the Homebuilt has come in and filled the void. But we have a very important place in aviation because right now we're leading the way.
This is the world's most successful Homebuilt. It's called the Long Easy. Over 2,000 people have built their own easy planes.
This airplane was built in 1988. It made its first flight. It's my own personal airplane that I built at home in the garage. It's since got some 1,300 hours on it and 9 years of flying. It's really been a very popular airplane. I think the reason it is so popular, it's a great combination of performance and handling characteristics.
It breaks all the rules. There's a propeller at the back and a tiny canard wing on the nose. This special wing is designed to prevent stall, the dangerous loss of lift when flying too slowly. It makes the Long Easy a very safe plane for amateurs. The designer, Burt Rutan, also created one of the most extraordinary flying machines ever built, Voyager. Voyager was built for a single special flight, a non-stop journey around the world without refueling.
The particular materials and the manufacturing method that we used for Voyager had to be low cost because we had a very low budget. It was one of the first airplanes that was built entirely out of graphite epoxy structures.
In December 1986, Voyager took off from Edwards Air Force Base in California at the start of a historic 9-day flight.
The thing that made the Voyager stand out is that 73% of the takeoff weight was fuel.
The wings and fuselage were filled with 1,200 gallons of fuel. The two pilots, Rutan's brother Dick and Gina Yeager, were crammed into the tiny cockpit.
In smooth air, the Voyager was actually a delight to fly. In turbulence, though, it became a real bear.
When it touched down at Edwards 226 hours later, Voyager had flown 27,000 miles non-stop. There were barely 20 gallons of fuel left in its tanks. Its success made Burt Rutan the world's most famous independent aircraft designer. This is his latest creation, the Boomerang.
I named the airplane the Boomerang because of the shape of the wing and planform. It swept forward at the left engine, so it has an asymmetric boomerang with one longer wing than the other, very much like the Aboriginal boomerangs.
Another radical design with exceptional performance and stability. It's a one-of-a-kind for Rutan's personal use. The Boomerang is the very latest in a long line of prototypes built by a man dedicated to testing the limits of aviation design. He built his Ares fighter just to prove that a high-performance military jet could be developed cheaply.
One of the reasons we've done so many airplanes is that we tend to not shy away from projects because of risk. We'll do exciting things. We'll do pure research. We will go out and build an airplane if we think it'll work.
Many of the world's most extraordinary planes were built just to see if they would work. In 1979, the Gossamer Albatross flew its way into the record books with an incredible human-powered flight. Cyclist and hang glider pilot Brian Allen produced enough power, just 0.3 horsepower, to cross the English Channel at 11 miles per hour. The huge wingspan was designed to maximize lift with the least possible weight. Its mylar skin, less than 1/1000th of an inch thick, gave the Gossamer Albatross a weight of just 55 pounds. The crossing began at dawn in still, calm air. In mid-channel, headwinds cut Allen's speed in half. He was ready to quit. He climbed a few feet and found smoother air. He decided to push on. After 2 hours and 49 minutes, he finally completed the 22-mile flight, gently touching down on a French beach. 2 decades later, design concepts from the Gossamer Albatross inspired another experimental aircraft, NASA's Pathfinder. Unmanned and solar-powered, it flies at altitudes over 70,000 feet. Solar cells covering the entire wing power the propellers. Storage cells allow the Pathfinder to fly through the night. In theory, this machine could fly forever.